What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sneaker Homegirls Podcast. I'm Rossetti Gutierrez-Uy.
And I am Maria DiMaggio Hickman. We're two Las Vegas realtors blending real estate, hustle, and sneaker culture all in one place.
If you're into real estate, entrepreneurship, and making big moves, you're in the right spot.
We're breaking down market trends, sharing behind-the-scenes stories, and giving you the game on how to build wealth through real estate.
And of course, we're talking sneakers, culture, and how we stay fresh while handling business.
So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. This is the Sneaker Homegirls Podcast.
Welcome back to the Sneaker Homegirls Podcast. We have exciting things to go over with you today, and I'm happy to be back.
I'm so happy you're back. I missed you last week.
I missed you too. I know, I'm like texting you. I feel like the whole time. I'm like,
Yes.
It doesn't feel like I'm gone.
She was in DC and just like having a great time down there. I saw all your pictures and videos and meeting new people. Tell me, like, what was the most exciting part?
So I think the most exciting part was when we went to Capitol Hill. Nevada Realtors was able to get a conference room inside of Capitol Hill in the middle of their legislative meeting. So we were able to meet some of our legislators that represent Nevada, and also along with the Women's Council of Realtors, since they're there for their mid-year meeting. And they presented data to give to them and their office teams to be able to kind of give them a little bit of ammunition when it comes to protecting our rights here in Nevada for property rights. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
And then we had to get our badges and make sure that we were cleared for security. It was no joke. And then just exploring the whole area in downtown and, you know, being right next to the White House, and the scooters are a lot of fun too.
Yeah. You didn't get hurt?
No, I didn't get hurt.
That's awesome. Was there one like thing that either the Women's Council or the Realtors Association, were they pressing them for anything, like to pass something, or is it nothing? Is it all just generalized right now?
I think it's pretty generalized for right now. Our El Presidente put in, a lot of changes this year. So the legislative meetings, and I don't know if this is correct or not, we'll find out. That's kind of where they discuss if it works for their state, or if it's something that needs to be changed and why it needs to be changed. So it's ultimately a discussion of committee meetings, and then moving forward is, I think, if they have quorum.
Got it.
So it depends on, I don't know what happens in there, but I think for the most part, it's our little piece of giving back to seeing if we can make sure that there's no rent control in Nevada, and
yes.
We protect our property right owners, and taxes. Nevada's a little different. I brought California with me out to DC, so we had a great time. I got to network with some other California realtors and see what they're going through out there and why it's driving a move from here and in Arizona and Utah as well.
Yeah, it's
the
nice.
Hot states.
Yes, and they just come to the hotter.
Yeah, exactly. Arizona's hot though.
Yeah, Arizona's a different, because it has a little bit of humidity where we're more dry. But you add in that humidity and it just takes it to a whole nother level. No, thank you.
Well, something I kept in mind too is like, when you get cancer, you are more likely to live a healthier lifestyle if you're in a dry climate.
Really?
So I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, or just because we have 300 days of sunshine.
Yeah, that helps. That helps anybody with anything.
It's about 108 right now. So, give or take.
It's hot.
But it was a good time. I think the indulging in the culture, and we were able to go to a cocktail bar where Abe Lincoln was there with his fellow delegates, and I got espresso martini. It was fantastic. So that was a cool experience. I think living in Las Vegas for so long, even though I'm from the Midwest, it kind of gets old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not that it's boring. It's just, I'm an outdoors kind of person. So I enjoy, the natural artifacts or the history of things. And, you can kind of walk through Las Vegas Boulevard in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lincoln Memorial is really cool. I've been there. There's some museums that are amazing. Like we went there. When did we go there? It was before we moved back to Vegas. We took a family trip down there. And it was really cool. I enjoyed it.
The last time that I went last year, because I was Women's Council Scholarship winner, we were exploring through the parks. We saw Lincoln. We scootered down there. It was crazy. And I didn't know we were getting on a highway. I was like, I don't think we're supposed to be here. There were a lot of children in camps. Yeah. And I thought to myself, I'm like, dang, I wanted to go to a camp like this, but like on the West Coast, the education's a little different.
Yeah, yeah. Although my kids are, their 8th grade year, they make a trip to DC
Oh,
for their
wow.
8th grade. Yeah, so Nevaeh will go this coming up year.
Oh, nice.
They'll go down to DC and kind of see all that, which is really nice. I mean, it's great to show kids other cultures and where other people live. They think they're in this bubble that everybody lives like this, and it's like, no, it's very different.
A lot of black cars. Like the
Really?
security cars.
Oh, the security
It's like
cars, yeah.
all through everywhere, and like there's so much security everywhere. I mean, the president's inside, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Which I don't know how that works, but they have tours at the White House.
Yeah.
So when they
Yeah.
have tours of the White House, where's President Trump?
Probably not there.
Is he upstairs?
Maybe secured somewhere, yeah.
Like, can you imagine living and you're like, yeah, they're doing like a tour down there.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, that doesn't
Like,
make me, especially with all the crazies
You're
out
just like
there.
drinking
I'm
your
like,
coffee. You're like, oh yeah, these people are here. Just hanging out. You just do a little wave. I don't know how politics work.
Me either. Not a politic girl here either.
So
But
today we got some
it's
really
good.
exciting stuff to go over.
I don't know if it's exciting. You know,
think
it's
it is.
paperwork, it's boring, but I will say that
She goes, it's boring.
it's kind of boring, but it's necessary. Everybody has to sign this document if you're going to buy a house. And I just think that, like, it can be scary. I think a lot of agents shy away from even discussing this because they're intimidated by it. But I just feel that it's very important to dissect and to understand from an agent point of view, and then for the consumer to know exactly what they're signing and why. Once you dissect it and you understand it, it's really not that scary. But I just thought it'd be good for us to go through this, talk about how we present it, because you may be presented differently than I do, and just talk about what it means and to not be afraid of the document. There's no reason. So when we get started with a client, before we can even get you on the MLS, show you a house, talk real estate with you, we are legally supposed to have you sign 2 documents. One is the duties owed, and one is the buyer brokerage representation agreement. And the BBRA, so when we're talking about buyer representation agreement, it's called the BBRA.
Slang terms.
Huh?
Slang terms.
Slang terms, yes.
Realtor terms.
That just came into a legal forefront last year around this time where we had to get this signed before we could do anything with you. Of course, it was because of a lawsuit, like every document that we have to have you sign. It all started with a lawsuit. But a lot of agents got out of the business last year because it was too intimidating for them and they didn't really feel comfortable doing it. So when your agent asks you to sign these things, they're not being ridiculous. They legally have to ask you. So let's get started.
Well, first off, I want to say I have always signed every single one of my clients I've ever closed at BBRA. So when the lawsuit happened, I felt like people were in a frantic. And I was over here just like, you guys aren't getting that signed?
Right?
I'm like, what the heck? Because I feel that when you sign this document, and we'll go over it in a second, it's just a clear understanding for all parties.
Yeah.
Like, this is our goal here. This is what we're going to do. I feel like it puts it into official documents to hire us to work with you.
Yeah. For a long time, I think real estate agents were not taken seriously. You go work with a lawyer and there's a retainer fee, right?
Yeah.
That lawyer is charging you $3,000 just to have a phone call with you. We work literally for free until the deal is closed. And there's many times deals don't close and we've invested 30 plus hours into somebody and we don't get paid. This doesn't still ensure that we're going to get paid, but it does, like you said, kind of create the relationship and everybody knows where everybody stands, which is really cool.
I always like to hold it up and say, we can divorce, it's fine.
Yes.
And just like rip it.
Yes. We're not going to make you stay with us if you don't want to stay with
Yeah.
us. But I've never had anyone leave me. When you give good customer service and you're there for people, it's kind of a moot point.
Absolutely.
But. All right. So the first part of this document, we have to check on line 4. Either it's an exclusive agreement, which means you're not working with any other agent, or it's a non-exclusive agreement, which means you're cheating on us and you're working with other people. I don't know too many agents that are going to be okay with you cheating on them and having, dual agents. What are your thoughts on that?
Cheating is not recommended by a lawyer. And this is not legal advice. Please consult an attorney. So in the beginning of it, I think you just want to think, what I always like to tell my clients is you don't want to date 2 people at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it just the ethics of dating two people at the same time, and unless everyone is okay with it, because I know some investors don't want to sign things like this because they don't want to be stuck to one person.
Right.
So there is a section in there that you do have to disclose how many. So however many people you're dating, you need to tell them all to let them know. So I like that part of it, but for the most part, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You either work with us exclusively and we commit all our time to reaching your goal, or, you break it up into multiple agents. But it depends on, what you're buying.
Right.
Also, are you buying single family? There's a section in there that gets to choose what exactly we're looking for.
Yeah, that's actually next. So that's a good entryway to that. So the next one underneath that is properties. What kind of properties are you looking at? Are you looking at residential, investment, commercial, vacant land, custom home builds, a new home? So that has to be checked. And typically, before we sign this, we've already talked to a client. We kind of have a good idea. There are some agents that will check all of it just to kind of cover their basis and make sure, hey, if you decide to buy commercial or a vacant land and I only have residential, then we got to go back and sign another one of these. So some agents will get them all signed. I personally, if I'm working with somebody residential and I know they're going to buy a single family, I just mark that. But it is important. Again, it's full transparency. What are we doing here? How is this relationship going to work? So you have any additional thoughts on that one?
Nothing on that one.
All right.
Pretty simple.
Very simple.
What do you want?
Yes. What would you like to buy?
What would you like to buy? Is there any interest in this category in the next 6 months?
Yes. Applicable cities. So here we have mostly just Las Vegas, but we also have North Las Vegas, Henderson. Some people go into Pahrump, Mesquite. There's Indian Springs, all areas. So obviously this is going to be another conversation that you have. We find out where are you interested in. We can put all those cities just in case. What if you find a property in Mesquite that you absolutely fall in love with and you want to move there, right? So, but all the cities that are applicable will be listed here. In Vegas, it's a little bit easier because we're so like, this is it. This is what you got. In other places in the country, like in Michigan where I'm from, you could show somebody 12, 13 different cities. And they're all within a very tight-knit group. And so those would have to all be listed as well.
Yeah, a lot of people think it is just Las Vegas, but there are different municipals throughout the county, Clark County, and the rules are different too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have, if you want pigs, or if you want horses, or if you want chickens, or if you want to have a big yard for your dogs, there's some restrictions that are there based on where you live. So that's always something to keep in mind too.
Yeah, definitely part of the whole conversation before we even get started, getting to know what your client wants and where they want to live, and do they have dogs, do they have horses, do they have pigs, whatever it is. Oh, chickens. I want chickens so bad, by the way. Nowhere in Rhodes Ranch can you have chickens, but I want chickens. I love chickens. Oh, I have fresh eggs all the time. Anyway, sorry, kind of got off topic. So that part is going to be the cities. And then other descriptions. So geographical areas, if you want to put the zip codes in, if you're looking for a multifamily, anything else other that is not, based off the standard form, you would put in there. And this again would all be discussed before this document even went out. So as a buyer, you should be aware of everything that's on here, and it shouldn't be too much of a surprise for you. The other thing that we can do is, let's say, and you had this happen with one of your listings, somebody contacted you and they just wanted to see your listing. They didn't necessarily want to commit to you as their agent because they had just met you. They were just calling you on. So you can also just put an APN number, or you can put an address, so that this agreement is just specifically for one address, 2 addresses, or whatever it is for the day. Maybe you're going to go show them 5 properties and it's just those 5 properties that you're signing on. That can also be done on here too. And that would have been a great solution to that problem too.
Yeah,
so at least
absolutely.
you were protected.
Yeah, and depending on the listing too, it depends on what the seller wants.
Yeah.
Because usually the sellers want people who are pre-approved, or at least have a means to, because if not, they're opening up their home to someone who is not very serious.
Right.
And it's kind of, if you're living there, it's a little bit of a waste of your time. So it is nice to have pre-approved. If it's vacant, it's a little different. But you know, since most of our inventory is owner occupied, it's they want someone who has good faith when it comes to walking in the home. You don't want to let everybody in there.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And it protects the agent that's showing, so that if they show this house and then all of a sudden they meet another agent that they really love, you have documentation that you showed them this house and you are due your commission.
Yep.
So it is a protection for us as well. You can list additional sheets on here where you can show all the different homes that are protected under this agreement. But that is really important to have too, because some people don't want to sign a 3-month, a 6-month, or whatever commitment. They just want to do a specific house. So that's great. Next, number 2 is going to be the length of the agreement. So what are your typical lengths that you do?
So when we fill this out, there's different ways we can fill this out. We can have a virtual conversation and discuss what you're looking for. You'll have time to review it and we can send it. You can come speak to us in person. We can walk you through the steps, or we can send you a copy and you tell us what you want us to put on there. Yeah. Because we're able to customize it to whatever you want for the most part. And it's more just a mutual agreement for both parties, like houses specific, things like that. And now my ADHD forgot the question. What was the question?
So it goes the length of the agreement.
Okay.
So how long are we going to commit to working together?
So for the length of the agreement, I always like to ask people what month would they like to be moved in? Mm-hmm. Because if their month is August and your average escrow is 30 days, depending on if they own or rent or what their situation is currently, you want to think about realistic time frames to be able to help them move into a home, right? So if it was June now, June, July, August, 3 months might be a little close, right? Mm-hmm. Because yes, they want to be moved in, but what if it rolls into September and it goes in that way? So typically what I say is anywhere between 3 months and a year to 2 years. If it's vacant land, it really just depends on what you're looking for. And I also just ask.
Yeah.
Like, hey, would you like me to be available for you if you have questions? Like, are you looking to invest in the long term here in Las Vegas? Are you looking to, buy single family? You're not ready now, but you want to just commit? Because I know that some of the clients that I have, they're like, I want to sign this because I need you to prioritize my time. And I'm like, okay.
Absolutely.
Sounds good, because my calendar is wacko.
Yeah.
So, I prioritize my clients over my customers.
That's a great point. Why don't we stop right there and tell the difference between the two?
Yeah, so a client is someone who is contractually agreed upon to help them with their real estate needs. I know exactly what they want. I know exactly what they're looking for. And we've already mutually agreed and contractually agreed to help each other, right? And by help each other means don't ghost us, okay? Yes. A customer is someone who inquires on more information, or maybe they want to learn about the homeownership process. Like, we have a lot of customers that come to our homeownership workshops that we're having in July. And the difference is most likely the customers are still searching, so the clients that we're contractually agreed with, we're going to prioritize a little bit more. So I always recommend, depending on what your real estate needs are, to at least select someone.
Yes.
Some people are busier than others, some take on too much, but for me, I like the legality of just going through the steps, make it very simple for our clients.
Yes. Good explanation. That was great. Yeah. And you know what? Who can blame us? Like, everybody prioritizes people in a certain way. And when I know you're committed to me and I'm committed to you, I'm going to give you more time. So I think that's totally fair. And I can't imagine too many people that would not appreciate that.
Yeah, I just want to say something. I feel like before you sign is like premarital counseling, and then when you sign, we're like married, okay? And then you're gonna marry the house.
We are,
and then you're gonna call us when you sell it again. That's another thing about the BBRA. I feel like since I've always done this in my career, my clients have retained.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is the relationships that I build with them, if they want a relationship, is available to them, right?
Yeah.
And some people that don't get these signed, they're just like, done.
Yeah.
All right, you done. And I'm like, oh, maybe you guys are making more money than us, but
Yeah, they just have them coming in. They can give it up. Yeah,
It just depends, but now you have to.
Yes, no more option. All right, here's where it goes into the sticky part where people get a little bit uptight. The buyer broker commission. Now, back in the day, everybody has heard the rumors, oh, it's a standard X amount or a standard. Okay. There is no standard. Everybody can pick what they want to make at any given time, right? Couple things. Whatever is written on this document, that is the most the agent can make. So if I am going into a new home sale and the builder is offering a 4% commission to me as the buyer's agent, and I only have 3 written on here, I can only make 3%. So a lot of times, especially with the new builds, because sometimes they have those incentives for agents and things, I will put a higher number on here. It does not mean that you as the buyer have to pay me that. It's just stating that that is the max I can make. I'm a very giving person and I give back to my clients a lot at closing. So the more money I make, the more I'm going to give. So if there's a higher number on here, don't be intimidated by it. It's not going to come out of your pocket. Legally, this document states that it does have to come out of the buyer's pocket, but you'll see here in a clause that I write on mine, it will never come out of my buyer's pocket. It just won't. And I'm going to tell you right now, I will represent you for free before I make money come out of your pocket. So we'll touch on that a little bit later. But the number that's in here, if you have agreed with your client and you as the agent, that this is the max I'm going to make, and you've already come to terms with that, don't be afraid of that number, because the more money we make, the happier that I would think you would be, because we'll give you more, right? So what do you have to say on that one? Because I know we're different in the way we handle these things.
Let me see it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a nerd. I need to look.
I know. She is a nerd. Like, I'm just like, she reads all the lines. She knows. She's good like that.
I feel like I'm pretty lenient with my numbers. If anything, I feel like, there is when you go to a restaurant, it's like a 20% tip, right? Some people are hardcore 15%ers, some people are hardcore 18%ers, and some people are 25%ers, right? There's no tip here. There's no tip here that you can see. I'm like making sure there's nothing on here that has like paperwork. There's nothing on here you can see. So really, we can negotiate. So it really just depends on how good of a negotiator my clients are.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we're very fair. We're super understanding. We'll give an average of what we're seeing in the market that we've got for the last few deals. I think some agents probably are a little harsher on that, but I think for us, and which is why we make such a great team, we give back a lot. So, I mean,
we're generous. People.
We're very generous, but it is the max. So don't be scared when you see your number. You're like, ugh. Start doing the math. I'm like, start calculating your rent math, and then we'll start there.
Nothing worse than that rent payment.
It's an average of $330,000 that someone pays in rent. I definitely paid it for sure, but
in your lifetime, yeah, it's nuts. So we can come up with a percentage on which we are going to charge to be your client or your realtor. We can come up with a flat fee number where maybe you already have here's a situation where I would do a flat fee. Let's say somebody comes to me and they already know that they're going to buy this house. It's their cousin's house, but they don't want to go into it without representation, especially when you're working with family. Things can get a little hairy, or close friends. So they want some sort of representation, but they've already pretty much got the deal done. It's between family. I might come in and just do a flat fee for that, and just to be able to write the documents to kind of protect them on their end. I don't need my full commission because I haven't really put a whole lot of work into the deal.
Yeah.
If I am working with a client who is out of state and it's going to be a 6-month ordeal before they actually get here, and there's going to be a lot of me going to houses and previewing them for them and FaceTiming them, and it's going to be a lot more work, my amount might be a little bit higher than somebody who's local here and are ready to go, and I know within 3 weeks they're going to be in contract.
Yeah.
So I think every situation is different, and I think just being aware of that, like how much time and effort do I have to put in this? Because there are some deals, when you figure out the per hour amount that we make, we probably would make more at McDonald's. Right?
No, I think we make like 20 cents.
I mean, honestly, there are some that are like that. And so I think as a smart business owner, which we are as realtors, You have to kind of look at each client separately, figure out how much time approximately do I think I'm going to be putting into this, and then figure out your number, because time is money, and we all are here to help, but we all have to feed our 5 children and pay our mortgages and pay for cheerleading.
Yeah, because if you're buying land, it's higher than it would be if you're buying single family. So don't be terrified of this document. It's really just an open discussion so all parties have a fair understanding of what's going on, because nobody works for free.
Exactly. Yep. And then you had talked about, which we'll get to in the second page, but down here, it also states, if we were to sever our relationship and decide to part ways, any houses that I showed you for X amount of days after our relationship is over, I would be entitled to the commission to that, because I actually took you out. I did all the research. I helped you. That number can be 0 and it can be 365, meaning for the entire year afterwards, I am due my commission because I showed you the house. Again, this is negotiable. Your agent is going to put in there what they feel is standard, but if you're not comfortable with that date, you can always talk to your agent and come up with a different number where both of you guys are comfortable. However, just remember, be respectful of the agent, because they did show you that house, and just because maybe you guys don't get along anymore or the agreement just expired, they still are due the commission for showing you that house.
Yeah, my favorite thing is when agents are acting differently because they're getting a different commission. I think that's an industry standard that's starting to change, which I'm very happy to see, is that, it should be the same level of work no matter what the commission is. And I think sometimes, going back to nobody works for free, it just really depends on what you're looking for. Some people are very educated and very empowered, and they don't want to take care of anything, so they call us.
Yes.
And they're like, you guys got it? I'm like, okay, cool. Some other people, they want to be there for every step. They want to understand. So a key piece in that first page that I like to go over, because the remaining pages are the disclosures that you're agreeing upon, is what your time frame realistically is, how you like to communicate. Like, those are really important things to keep in mind when signing a BBRA, because this is a legal document and we want to make sure that the communication is clear on all sides.
100%.
And that we're able to help you, because if you have a busy job and this isn't a conversation that we have in the beginning, how do I know you work graveyard? So I think that's a really good piece about this document, is like, hey, like, we're both agreeing that you're gonna buy a home, you know, or you're gonna sell, not sell, but
yeah, you're gonna buy a home.
Maybe you're buying after you're selling.
Yeah. Either way. So then the next one, like you said, is more onto the disclosures, collecting the broker's fee from the seller. This is something that you have to understand. In our purchase contracts on page 2, it states how much is the seller going to pay us as the buyer's broker.
$1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million.
So we already
it's not that.
It would be nice. We are already anticipating the seller's going to pay us this, not you. And that's just written in there right there. We have disclosures that we have to give you, broker's effort. So this talks about our effort that we have to give to you. The buyer's representations and duties. These are all listed here, but also on the duties owed, which is another one that you have to sign. And then for the best experience, this is where Rossetti was talking. How many other agents are you cheating on us with? We need that number if you are.
Name, phone number, and email. I'm just kidding. We don't need that.
But you just list the number there if there is anybody. I'll be honest with you, unless it's like a weird one-off, I probably won't work with somebody who's at that point. And then we have the equal housing opportunity, the wire transfer warning, which is another separate document that you're going to sign anyway. But those are all on there. Nevada law applies, authority, capacity. This is where mine are a little bit different than other agents. In additional terms, I will put a clause on there to make you feel better that this is
make you feel better.
That this is how much I charge to my clients, but you as the buyer will never have to pay that. If we get into a contract where the seller just says, I'm not paying anything, I will do it for free, but you will owe me A, B, and C, and you have to call me and sign one of these to find out what A, B, and C is. I'm not going to tell you. But that's basically it, right? And then it goes over the cancellation. Everybody signs it, puts their information in, and it's really not a scary document. So
the clause is the secret, though.
Yeah, the clause is the special sauce.
Secret. I think that, when you are starting your homeownership journey and the clause is the secret.
That is the secret sauce of MDH Homes.
MDH?
MD Homes.
MD Homes Real Estate.
I need my coffee. I haven't had enough coffee.
We need coffee. We're getting ready to head to our lunch meeting. I hope that this was very educational for you. This is not legal advice, and we are not financial accountants, so please connect with the resources and reach out to us. This document isn't as scary as it needs to be. It's just a formality on not cheating on us.
Yes. Please be faithful to us. We're faithful to you.
Have a great week. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.
Peace. That's a wrap for this episode of the Sneaker Homegirls Podcast.
We appreciate you tapping in and rocking it with us. Real estate, hustle, and sneakers, that's what we do.
If you got value from this episode, make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Follow us on Instagram at The Sneaker Homegirls for behind-the-scenes content, market updates, and of course, sneaker drops.
Let us know in the comments what topics you'd like for us to cover next. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep hustling, stay fresh, and we'll catch you on the next episode.